What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Okay, the moon landing, which is obviously fake.
No, it's not obviously fake.
No, that's actually not what
Are you
The moon landing is
crazy?
definitely fake, by the way.
The moon landing's not.
The shadows are off.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. I looked at photos on the internet and it proves it.
Nick,
The shadows are off. The shadows are off.
shadows
The
are
shadows
not.
are off.
It's the Al Travis Show. Love having this cat on. He's Senator Aric Putnam. Senator, how are you? Happy Thanksgiving to
Right
you and
back
yours.
at you, my friend. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. It's like every year because I just find problems with things. And I know Thanksgiving's been kind of rolling along for a few hundred years. But I really would like to start an updated Thanksgiving kind of thing. You know, nothing with the turkey, and I don't want the turkey people mad at me. We raise a lot of turkeys around here. But in all honesty, if I'm thankful for a food item, it'd be the rib, maybe a brisket. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ripping the turkey people. Take something in the summertime. That is, you know, I would like, you know, the canned yam or the canned cranberry. Oh my gosh. You're trying to force kids to be thankful and then you put that on their plate. We're forcing something. I think we need to modernize the food. Is that okay?
You know, I hear a big part of that because, like, with that canned cranberry sauce, when that opens, the dog looks at it and goes, "I'm glad I get my food." It's got that same sort of like canned shape and taste. I'm not saying it's the same taste as canned dog food because I don't eat that as frequently, but I'm saying that there's a little bit of an echo there.
And if you have to put something like marshmallows all across something to make it taste like the yam, don't put it on the table. And okay, so 600 years ago, whatever, 400 years ago, that's all they had. Now, I didn't know they had marshmallows when they were in the first Thanksgiving. That was news to me, but okay, that's what they had. We have more now. If you like egg rolls, you're an egg roll guy, egg roll Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I just want to update it a little. Is there any issue with that other than fighting my family for it? Because
Well, two things, like this idea of marshmallows at the first Thanksgiving, like they grow naturally somewhere. They found them in a cave. They probably pick them in a cave, or they pick them like mushrooms. That actually explains the marshmallow to me in a big way. But no, so what I'm hearing is we need Al's law that gives freedom to Thanksgiving, because that fits your idiom too, right? It's all about
yes,
freedom. You need a free Thanksgiving where you
I
can eat
love
ribs
that,
and you don't have to eat marshmallows. I think let's do that.
I mean, I just each his own, and if you're a traditional family, go get your turkey. I don't care.
Yeah.
If you put the canned cranberry people out of business, I'm not crying. Now, I'm sad for their families who pick them and can them and stuff them in the Jell-O. I don't, but okay.
We don't do a lot of that here, and as you know, I care a great deal about Minnesota agriculture, but I don't give a damn about Massachusetts agriculture or Maine.
We all got our limits, okay?
Cranberry thing, let them go. Let them do their cranberry thing. We'll do.
I love that. You've got plans. Family all comes to you. You go to the family.
Yeah, the kids are coming home, and we're going to pick them up at college today. Both of them. We're trading
good for you.
places, each one going in either direction. And then a couple friends are going to come over tomorrow night, but nothing too fantastic. I just
that's fun.
Thanksgiving for me is time to sit alone in my basement by myself. That's what I'm really grateful for.
That's what you'd be thankful for. See that? And then you force 30, 40 people in a room. You're pushing my limits on the thankful part. You know, I'm thankful when it's over. Driving home is like, thank we survived. All right, I don't want to rip Thanksgiving empty too much, but I thank you for being on the first show. I've got a couple of things that went haywire lefty for me yesterday in the news, and I want to discuss with you because I think you're going to agree with me on this. It started on X. The governor had posted something, I'm keeping an eye on this. Don't worry, they didn't let me know about it. It was just like, Governor, a little more context, please, because I have no clue what you're talking about. So I get on the, start looking around. And what basically happened was, I don't know if it was ICE, but some federal guys were chasing a bad guy, and he gets into this place in St. Paul. They're after this one guy, as I understand it. They chase him down to this place. They call St. Paul PD and say, hey, we got to get into this place. Bad guy there. So St. Paul police come down. They're doing policey things. And then a mob showed up and started throwing rocks and being bad to the police and going after them. It's in the paper today. Rocks, the police were throwing tear gas. I mean, it was this whole thing. And first off, Governor, you got to tell me the context. Thinking everybody, I'm in Blue Earth, Minnesota. I didn't hear the sirens go off. I missed it, okay? I didn't know what was going on. So a little more context. But then when you get into it, here's what's really bothering me. We can dislike what the president is doing and ICE raids and that sort of thing. We yell, you go pick up 65 people and some real Americans are going to get in there and yada, yada. As I understand it, these guys were going after this one guy. And the folks outside sided with the one guy and started having a protest. And now we got tear gas going off and we're trying to push the people back. How none of them even knew the guy. We're instantly siding with the other guy than the cop. And I don't think I like this. And I think the first time you pick up a rock and throw it at a cop, I think we have real issues. And I think we can protest. I think we can find out how to do things better. But if cops are knocking at my neighbor's door and they're trying to get in, I'm not throwing rocks at the cop. I'm missing something here. I'm missing the disconnect on how we think we're going to get better if we don't trust anybody.
Yeah, so like I know even less than you on this one,
okay.
Which is pretty impressive.
That we well, when you're at the bottom of the barrel like me, yes, you have really sunk. But so it's just the idea of okay, go ahead.
Well, take on the concept because I think the concept is pretty important. First, I'd make a distinction between ICE and law enforcement. Yeah, like, don't throw a rock at a cop because the cop is there for public safety. That ICE agent probably got picked up at Home Depot a little while ago because he was looking for a job. Like that's the thing that like our ICE agents right now are not trained law enforcement professionals. They're people who got a law bonus to just show up and break some necks. And I'm not especially cool with the way that's being done. So I would make a distinction because I think the St. Paul cops are there to keep the peace, and the ICE agents are not. And I think the cops are trained to de-escalate and keep the peace. And we've seen in the last 6 months that that's not what ICE agents are all about. So,
and let's just go down this. It was ICE agents. I'm looking at the story now. They said he was from Honduras, in the country illegally, and had criminal history. They called the St. Paul cops. It was the St. Paul cops that were there, and that's kind of my point. It wasn't guys with ice on their chest. This is St. Paul cops, and you literally sided with the other guy. I presume the cops knew this guy too, right? I mean, we get to know the bad guys in our neighborhood. They must have known. Anyway, my point is, let's say they arrested the guy, and you didn't throw a rock, and you didn't go after the cops, and we find out he was picked up at the Home Depot, was wrong, it shouldn't have been there. We can protest. We have ways of doing that. I just can't see picking up rock. Whether it's ICE agents, any of them, I'm having a tough time with siding with the potential bad guy because now we think all ICE guys are bad guys. The St. Paul police were there. I don't know how we're deciding teams without knowing the context. You don't know the context. 60 people outside that house didn't have a clue either. They just don't like guys in the uniform. You know what I'm saying? They had no clue who was inside the house, Bob or whoever his name was. You know what I'm saying? We've got to decide that's not how we react. That's my point.
And I'm a big fan of the peaceful protest. I'm all over that.
Thank you.
But in this case, I don't know the details especially well enough.
Yeah.
Again, there's one thing to be a criminal investigation when you're getting a bad guy who's done something naughty. There's another thing for an ICE investigation with someone who maybe has a speeding ticket. Like we don't know the nature of whatever criminal event.
And you and I don't, and we can have a discussion about it the next day. I'm saying that if it happens in your neighborhood and you're instantly going against the cops and you don't know, as much as he might have been speeding, maybe he's a child rapist. I mean, I don't know, but you're just siding with the anti-law guys. And I'm thinking, even if there are bad anti-law guys, and there are, bad guys in every group, not all of them are bad guys. We need to fix this, and it can't be throwing rocks. It can't be throwing rocks at cops. You've got to figure something else out.
Yeah, I think like your deeper point of like immediate overreaction and reflex reaction, I think is a super solid one. And like, I always would like to be that guy who actually knows what he's talking about. But
even this, I bring this up. You don't know.
Other people should be. You know what I mean?
You didn't know we were going to talk about this, and your instant thing is, well, I'm going to have to find out more about it. It wasn't grab the rocks. I'm heading down the street. We've got to get to a point where we can take that breath. The next one, we got to go to break first, is all about SNAP. And I got at the end. KSTP did a story about SNAP and what our rules are on how we handle people we think are screwing around with SNAP. I was stunned. We'll talk about it. I got him. Senator Aric Putnam. More right after this.
Tired of one-sided media and divisive noise drowning out your conservative values? Take back the conversation with Braver Angels. Join a grassroots movement to restore civility and find common ground without compromising your principles. As a conservative, your voice matters. Share your perspective on issues like immigration and public health in Red Blue workshops and help rebuild trust in our great nation. Be a leader in depolarizing America. Sign up for free at mn.braverangels.org. Braver Angels, where conservatives, liberals, and independents unite for a stronger republic.
Chanhassen Dinner Theater's gift cards make perfect holiday gifts because everyone loves the gift of live entertainment used for any current or upcoming show, incredible concerts, Stevie Ray's Comedy Cabaret, or main stage musicals like White Christmas or the upcoming high-rolling Broadway hit Guys and Dolls. Chanhassen Dinner Theater's gift cards are available in any amount, never expire, and are always the right size and color. Easy too. Order by phone or online at chanhassendt.com. Chanhassen Dinner Theaters, always entertaining you.
It's nice to know a guy that knows a guy. Al Travis.
We've got him, Senator Aric Putnam, on the program. I don't know why we don't just call it the Al Travis Show the He Wants to Whine About Fraud Show, because it just seems to be like theme upon theme upon theme. And today's, I've been saying this for a while, and it makes me the bad guy. I honestly believe, and I don't think most people working for the state of Minnesota are bad. I really don't. But we have bad actors, in my opinion, that are in good faith doing the best they can for Al and his money. And here's the story, sir, quick. According to KSAP, it's called the Department of Children's, Youth, and Family. They run SNAP, the SNAP program, if you get on it or not. According to their investigation, the state agency in charge of the SNAP is not using the new state law you all came up with that allowed them to suspend services if you're suspected of guilt, or suspected of cheating the system. They've decided not to use it. They have decided to go with another law that's on the books that disqualifies a SNAP recipient from the program after being found guilty. The person running this program said, okay, you let me, if we think they're frauding us, stop for 60 days and find out. I don't want to do that. That seems like a lot of work. But as soon as they get found guilty of the fraud, then we'll stop. If you told Al, we can do this whole process and find out if they're guilty or not within 1 week, I'd go with that plan. But by the time you get found guilty, you can take 6, 8, 10 months, 2 years, get a good lawyer and take forever. How is that possible, sir? You made a law, not you. You made a law. You made the law and said, take them. If you think they're guilty, stop it. You know what I'm saying? At some point, when did Minnesotans get to say, come on, Let's tilt on the side of saving Al's money more than not. Does that make any sense?
I'm thinking about it.
Okay, I see you thinking like, I get it. Those that need it, I want to have Snap. I am not ripping Snap. But if we have some reason to think you're screwing around, stop until you find out. And we'll pay you back. We'll hook you back up.
But if okay, so hear me out, because I'm thinking this through in real time, right? Because I didn't know anything about this. So I would say, like, first I go to the analogy. Like, do you want someone thrown in jail because you think they killed somebody or because they actually did?
Absolutely.
Like, there's a distinction there between like when they've been found guilty. Then I keep thinking about it, and I start thinking about the benefits that people are getting. Average of $187 a month.
Yeah.
Tons of these people are on disabilities. A lot of these people are kids. So, and these are our neighbors too. So it's, if someone's suspected of fraud and they don't eat unless they get this $187 a month, and their kids don't eat either, because we suspect that they committed fraud. I kind of want something stronger than that.
See, let me play the bad guy. Let me play the bad guy here. Your murder analogy. I don't want you to throw in jail until we can prove you actually murdered somebody. Now we do this. Cops think there's enough evidence, right? We see your fingerprints and we got the thing. You're not guilty yet, but we throw you in jail till the courtroom. We do throw you in jail, and then you get to court and you get found innocent or guilty, right? They go through the whole process. You're not roaming around as a mass murderer, even though we know you did it, and until your court date. We throw those who have good ideas in jail. Now, the other end, that's just committing crimes against society. SNAP programs, I'm pointing at you, you come to Al and you say, I need help. You're asking for something from me. I didn't come to you and say, hey, here's my money. You came and asked me for help. And I said, great, here's the program. You got to sign up and do this, this, and this, and I'm willing to help. You prove that you need help, your kids need help. I'm all for it. But somewhere in there, someone working for me said, I don't think she has 4 kids, or whatever. I don't know how you find out if you think they're screwing with you. I don't. But now we have a legitimate thought to look at it. Maybe I'm telling you, I give my group 1 week to go find out. Bring your clan in. I'll go to your house. We'll count the number, whatever it is. Show me. I don't know. Maybe you make it a 1 week thing. But for you to come to me and ask for money, and I say, great, here's the steps. If you can't follow that, I'm sorry, but I'd love to give you the money, but we have rules. This idea that you're allowed to steal from me blind until I can get you to court and prove it differently, and then how do I get the money back? I think it's okay if you're asking for it. You're coming to me.
I'm going to push back just a second because
I'm good with that.
Right. So let's take the 1 week issue. If we were able to adjudicate whether or not someone were committing fraud in 1 week, in that case, I'd be fine with not giving them food for a week.
Yeah.
But if we can do it in 1 week, why not still feed them for that 1 week and then find out whether they did it at the end of the week?
Well, that's what I'm saying is, okay, we suspect fraud. As soon as somebody says in the organization, we suspect fraud, guess what? Mary Jane, go find out. Get in the car, go find out, do what we got to do, look up the records. I don't know how they prove it one way or the other anyway, but go do that. And as soon as we know, we know. And I pull it from you. I say, yep, said she had 5 kids. One of them graduated. She's got 4 kids now. Whatever the deal would be that we think is gone, we pull it. She has the right to appeal and say, hey, and but things cut off until you prove us we're wrong. Because now what else we don't want to throw you in jail for it. I don't see throwing anybody in jail for stealing $109 in food stamps. I don't see that. But I think you got to cut it off. And to be found guilty, all the time it takes to go to court and get in there, and how many years could you do that?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like for me, if we could really sort this in 1 week, I'm on the other side of that, but the same thing. So like, it doesn't hurt us a whole lot to keep feeding them for a week because we don't know, and we could turn it off in a week because it doesn't hurt them that much. But the maybe it's more than a week.
Yeah, maybe it's a bigger process getting in.
Yeah.
When you come and sign up, we need this kind of proof, right? We need to know that these are the things. And if you've got a kid who's 17 and a half, at 18, and I don't know what the rules are. I have no flipping idea. But whatever those are, you need to come in, sit down, verify it, sign your signature down there. Now we know this is how long this is going to go for. You understand? Well, I guess the problem is probably when they will go get a job and then don't tell us about it or something, right? I mean, how do you
like people's situations change? I don't know. Like, I don't know if there are phantom kids. Maybe there are. Like, I don't know anything. I mean, I will say, like, on the fraud front more generally, we talked about this before, but that Office of Inspector General would have really helped. And I was not doing that. And, your Republican Speaker of the House is the one who didn't bring it to the floor of the House. Yeah. So I think sometimes it's easier to run on something than it is to solve it.
Well, and then back to this whole thing. You guys gave this program the ability to say, no, cut them off for 60 days. And whoever's running that, and I don't know what person's name, said, nah, we'll go with the old rule.
Yeah.
We all just passed. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to be all negative on Thanksgiving. I want to say thank you very much for being on the program and always being here for us and making it happen. You had a bunch of stuff going on today, but you still made this thing happen. I appreciate it. If you are going to be driving today up in your neck of the woods, winter's here. Be careful.
I will. You too, my friend. It's good to see
All
you.
right.
Happy
We'll have it.
Yours.
You too, as well.